McDermott, Nevada, just a few hundred yards over the Oregon border. Population 95, a shrinking dot on the high desert map. For the last century, a boom and bust mining town straddling two-lane U.S. Highway 95. One casino, two gas stations, long dead businesses. And home to the North American headquarters of Jindalee Resources of Perth, Australia.
There's a lot more drilling to be done, Alan. Yeah, no, we'll be drilling here for several years yet.
Lindsay Dudfield runs Jindalee, and this is what drew the mineral exploration company to McDermott.
You can see the alternating bands. There's very dark bands there that probably are carrying higher grades of lithium. But this rock here would, it's the sort of thing we're looking for.
And why are they looking for it? Lithium is a key component in cell phones, laptops, solar and wind power storage systems, all kinds of electronics, including lithium-ion batteries powering electric cars. So if we are going to green up and electrify our vehicle fleet to cut greenhouse gases, we will need more of it, lots more. Even with demand surging, the country has just one small lithium mine in operation in southern Nevada. The biggest deposits of the world's lightest metal are in Chile, Argentina, Australia, and China. Most lithium mined around the globe is shipped to China, where it's refined and sold back to the rest of the world. All of which brings us to southeastern Oregon's spectacular emptiness. In a late spring snow squall, we drive into the 16-million-year-old McDermott caldera, looking for the 29 drill holes already sunk by Jindalee.
This is a pioneering sort of, part of the exploration cycle.
It is the first lithium drilling operation of this scale ever permitted in the state of Oregon.
So your GPS says it's about here? Yeah. Here it is.
It doesn't look like much, perhaps, just a metal cap in the mud, but it's a hint of what could be the biggest, most accessible deposit in North America. Dudfield himself has called it a monster.
Well, look, we wouldn't be coming back and doing more work if we didn't like what we're seeing.
They'll sink a total of 61 drill holes on more than 7,000 acres, about half the area of their staked mining claim. Always trying, Dudfield stresses, to disturb the land as little as possible, to replant and repair at drilling sites.
We're currently undertaking fauna and flora surveys, hydrological surveys, cultural surveys, just to make sure we minimise our impact on areas that might be sensitive.
Another thing he stresses repeatedly is that Jindalee is looking, not digging.
This is exploration. There's no guarantee that a mining operation will result.
So you emphasize this is exploration?
Yes.
But a mine is the ultimate objective. You're not here for fun.
No, look, obviously, if our exploration effort is successful and all other stars align, the lithium price remains high, we have community and government support for developing a mine here, then yes, that's the ultimate goal.
Of course we need lithium. I've got lithium in my pocket, in my cell phone. And I get that, and we understand that.
Ryan Houston with the Bend-based conservation group Oregon Natural Desert Association says they plan to keep Jindalee's work under a microscope for years.
And given that this has the potential to be North America's largest lithium mine, we're going to be watching it very closely. And most importantly, we're going to be very focused on making sure that there's clear and explicit compliance with those bedrock conservation laws.
Hoping a balance can be found between demand for lithium and damage to the land.
How do we develop these critical minerals and do it in a way that protects some of the key things we care about, like biodiversity and wild landscapes?
Environmental groups aren't the only ones keeping a wary eye on the drilling.
Not everyone in the community is going to like what we're doing.
The Black Angus cattle we see grazing on federal land near the drilling sites belong to GJ Livestock. That's Fred and Judy Wilkinson's operation. We're joined for this interview by great-grandson Weston, representing the 6th generation of this longtime local ranching family.
There once was 17 family ranches in this valley on the Oregon side. There's only 2 of us left.
Despite Jindalee's assurances, the Wilkinsons are skeptical about promises made.
Those drill rigs and stuff come in here, those guys don't care how much grass they destroy or what happens. They try to plant it back, and they're supposed to, but BLM has a tough time keeping after them.
Judy doubts Weston's generation will ever actually work this country, especially if this becomes the lithium mining capital of the continent.
Some things come to an end. Sometimes you're better off to move on and find a place somewhere else, possibly, that you want to raise cattle and maybe more private property and less government ground and less issues to deal with.
Dudfield expects pushback, regulatory challenges, and a long, bumpy road to any mining operation here. An area where mineral extraction has been changing the landscape for a century. This is what's left of a mercury mine that closed back in 1944. Just one example here.
And
As the snow melts and we wind up our day in the caldera, Jindalee's boss acknowledges there are difficult choices ahead.
lithium is mined. It doesn't fall out of the sky as snow. People want mobile phones, they want electric vehicles, they want to be able to store green energy. Then they're going to need lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, this is important, cell phone, but are we going to eat the cell phone? People don't ever think about eating, that's the thing. And I know they won't until they become hungry.
There's no drilling underway now. Jindalee leaves the land alone during prime cattle grazing months. But those drill crews will be back at work in September. Full-scale mining, if it ever happens, could still be 10 years out. In the McDermott caldera, Alan Schaffler, Central Oregon Daily News.